Many privacy programs fail for a pretty simple reason, and that's that they fail to achieve adoption because they don't account for the needs of the people that are actually building product internally. I'm Anthony Presti. I'm the VP of Privacy at TerraTrue. I spent my career building privacy programs within fast-moving companies, and now I spend a lot of my time talking with privacy professionals who are trying to do the same. Oftentimes, one of their initial struggles is embedding themselves across the business and making sure they understand what products and features and processes really need review, and ensuring that they're having a good partnership with the security team, with product counsel, with PMs and engineers and others that have information that's going to be relevant to the review. Ultimately, I think the real question is not how you can sit and design the perfect processes on paper and say you can deploy this everywhere, but really understanding what's going to fit for your business and the stakeholders that are relevant to your process. So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's get into building a privacy program that product teams will actually use. One of the key challenges I think a lot of privacy teams face is that they do not often have the ability to dictate brand new processes and insert themselves into the software development lifecycle. Instead, teams are already using a lot of different tools, whether it's Jira or Slack or GitHub, to collaborate. Asana is a common one for PMs as well. And instead of making everyone move to a new platform or adopt a new process, it's really important to kind of come to where people are already working and offer your assistance there. In the past, that used to be things like showing up to meetings, but I think with modern distributed teams, it makes a lot more sense to adopt tools that can plug right in. And at first, that might be you getting a Jira account and hopping right in and providing comments and feedback to people. But over time, you may find that there are so many systems you need to interact with that it makes more sense to find a dedicated tool like TerraTrue that can integrate with them and bring all of this information to you in a single place. So akin to meeting teams where they work, either physically or in their tools, it's important to meet folks where they work with their vernacular, with the language that they speak, right? And oftentimes, privacy professionals or product counsel can come in with legalese or verbatim recitations of the GDPR. And it's not particularly helpful to the PMs and engineers that are trying to figure out how to implement the advice that you're providing. Instead, I find it's really important to use plain language to understand how your teams talk about your products, about your features, your services, and your customers, and then translate the knowledge and expertise you have in privacy and security into something that they can immediately implement and work with you on. Side benefit of speaking the language of your PMs and engineers is that you'll find an opportunity to then understand exactly what goals they're trying to achieve as well. And I do think that's critical to implementing any sort of privacy program, because if you go in and just ask, what type of data do you want to collect and how do you want to use it, things like that, you're going to miss the bigger picture and not be effective in the advice that you provide. So, for example, if somebody on your ads team tells you that they want to collect a bunch of personal data, create a profile segment for a user, and then hold on to it for a long period of time, you may come out and try to give arbitrary retention periods or say, do we really need to profile them in this way? But it may be more helpful to understand, what are they trying to achieve with this targeting? Who are your advertisers? How long do you need to keep this data? Do you need to show seasonal trends such that you need more than a year's worth? Or can this be something that you do very narrowly? It really just depends on what the business wants to achieve, combining that with what the legal requirements may be, as well as your overall position internally on the type of risk you're willing to take on, gives you a framework to provide better advice than you could just repeating laws back to them. Just as it's important for you to understand the goals of the business, it's important for you to communicate your goals to the business. The reality is that a lean privacy team really cannot scale by hand-holding forever. At some point, you're going to need to equip PMs and engineers and others with information to help understand how you think about problems so that they can come with an informed opinion to you when they need advice, or they can identify those things that may be higher risk that require your review. And so when something does come across your plate, it's important that you understand what the high value work you need to do is as well. So much of privacy compliance is documentation. And while that's important, it's frankly not probably the highest value work you can be doing at all times. Things like your records of processing and data maps and system descriptions and inventories are important to have fresh and up to date at all times. But a lot of it's clerical work that if you can automate it away, you should. And you should spend your time working hand in hand with PMs and engineers to align on what the right position is for your business and those things that could most severely impact your customers. And through those high value conversations with the business, business, your goal ultimately should be to come across as a proactive partner to the business. That is the key to a great privacy program, is not to feel like a gatekeeper at the end or back office clerical work, but someone who's really providing value to your customers, to your business, so that you find adoption of the program because people genuinely want your advice and guidance before they go to market. Ultimately, one size fits all privacy programs are never a workable solution over time. You may get some early wins, but the adoption typically doesn't continue. If you want to achieve long-term sustainability in your program, the keys are really having some empathy for the business and other stakeholders that you work with day to day. Understand what their goals are, understand how to talk to them, equip them with knowledge to help themselves think through privacy issues, and spend your time focusing on the highest risk, most important issues so you can look like a true partner to the business and provide value back to the product. If you'd like to learn more about how TerraTrue can help you become a proactive partner to your business, check us out at terratruehq.com.